So this is a shot of the collection of Mustangs my brother and I have together, and as you can see, there's not one convertible here. And it's not that we don't like convertibles, we really do. They're fun to ride around in, but they just weren't our preference. And so today we're going to talk about what might make you choose a convertible over a coupe and some of the reasons why each are better. And a lot of it's really going to come down to preference. So if you asked me, hey, Danny, why don't you have any convertibles and why would you get a coupe? My first response would be, I just feel like the coupes are a little more rigid. I feel like the coupes weigh a little bit less, and you'll see in the video that they're not quite as far off as you might think as we go weigh them. And I like that the coupe isn't going to have as much wear and tear with the top going up and down. Wind, noise, drag, and the top eventually leaking are also just a few small things that I would mention. Now, of course, all of those things can be addressed, and so don't think that I'm talking poorly about convertibles, but that was just my personal first thoughts on coupe versus convertible. I really like the way that the coupe looks, and so that's kind of a personal preference, okay? Other people might like the convertible look a lot better, especially with the top down and with a style bar. I really like that. But anyway, a lot of it will just come down to personal preference, and so not trying to hurt any feelings or anything, just tell you that's the way that I personally feel about them. Okay, so the first thing we wanted to do is take these cars to the CAT scales, because the first thing that always comes up, coupe versus convertible, is how much more a convertible weighs. So this is a pretty stock car, still has the iron block, the independent rear suspension, 6-speed. Basically a stock Cobra, other than it has a 2.3 liter Whipple supercharger. Can't weigh much more than the stock, maybe a few more pounds with the coolant for the expansion tank, but not much. And this was weighed with us out of the car and 3/4 of a tank gasoline. So this came in at 3720 is the total weight, so 3,720. Next is a 2003 SVT Cobra, the Terminator, and this time a convertible. Now this one didn't have too much to add to the weight other than some 18-inch wheels, which were a little heavier. It's an Eaton car. Underneath it did have a full Kenny Brown subframe connector system that's been welded on. So that added, I'm sure, just a little bit of weight, and it has a roll bar underneath the convertible top there. But other than that, it's pretty much stock for weight. There's not a sound system or anything in it like that. So this one came in surprisingly only 100 pounds more than the coupe, 3820 exactly. Now, this does go to show that some simple things, like in my Cobra, it had these sound system boxes in the back. Each of these were weighing in at 27 pounds. So, but you know, look how close you are with a sound system or how much fuel is in the car. You can be really close to coupe weight with a convertible. So the difference really isn't as far off as people always want to make it look, coupe versus convertible. Rigidity and everything like that. There are other factors with the convertible. But anyway, just wanted to show you here that the cars can be pretty close depending on how they're configured. So again, 100 pounds difference between a coupe and a convertible can easily be made up by the weight of just a passenger in one and not in the other. You can easily make up that weight too around the car, moving some things around. So again, the coupe did have a sound system with about 60 pounds worth of stuff, but you're looking at some other stuff that was on the convertible, like full subframe connectors and things. So the weights were pretty even. It's 100 to 150 pounds is about the difference that you're going to see. Now, this was my friend's 2001 Laser Red Cobra, and when I first saw it, I was blown away with how beautiful the car was. And there's going to be a lot of convertibles that are like this way. It seems a lot of people like to collect the convertibles, and so you're going to find a lot of them in pristine condition that have been driven only on weekends with the top down, haven't been left out a lot. And so I think you'll always be able to find a beautiful convertible. And for some people, that's all they'll have is a convertible. And that's all they want. I kind of have a love-hate relationship with driving convertibles, because with the top down, it's awesome. It's beautiful weather. You can hear the exhaust more than anything. That's my favorite part, is hearing the exhaust a lot better. But if you have your significant other with you and they happen to have long hair, then they might not be as thrilled as you are with their hair blown everywhere. I also, the only thing I really don't like is a privacy kind of part of it, where whenever you pull up to a stoplight, everybody is looking in at you. And so whenever I drive convertibles, sometimes I kind of feel like everybody's looking at me. So Maybe that would be fixed by wearing a hat and some sunglasses or something, but anyway, that's just a personal thing for me. And of course, the weather has to be perfect. If it's too cold, you definitely don't want the top down. And if it's too hot, you definitely don't want the top down with no protection getting sunburned. So having the top down definitely is fun when it's the right circumstances. Otherwise, that's why the top comes back up, I suppose. They are a little bit more loud on the inside, driving on the freeway, for example, with the top up. But all in all, it's really not too bad if that's what you enjoy. But there is nothing like a nice, cool Saturday morning with the top down, V8 roaring, and just enjoying the beautiful sound and the beautiful scenery of a beautiful morning. So I think having the top down really creates that atmosphere that you just can't get in a coupe. Now, performance-wise, they did make the coupe a little bit stiffer on suspension. And my friend here has a full Kenny Brown subframe connector system, everything welded in, and so his car is very rigid. And we even put lowering springs on it, and this car is built very well. So it's not to say that a coupe will be always more rigid than a convertible. There are modifications that you can do, and he has the stylus bar at the top that goes over to like the roll bar type thing, and that's a really nice touch. And that would be a concern if you flipped a car over, but hopefully that doesn't happen with your coupe or your convertible. Now, generally speaking, at least for the 03, 04 Cobras, they make more coupes than they do convertibles. But if you look at some of the anniversary packages, that's not the case. It was the case for Mystic Chrome. They made more coupes than convertibles, but not for the 10th anniversary. Now, total, there were 2,003 of these 10th anniversary Cobras made, and I think they were just being clever for the model year 2003. Now, if you see the other production videos I've made, you've noticed that the coupes generally outproduce the convertibles. There's less convertibles, but for the 10th anniversary, that was a little different. With the exception of silver, there were more convertibles made for each color, so there were more black convertibles, there were more red convertibles than the coupes, but for silver, there were fewer. So for the black coupes, there were 381 coupes made, whereas the black convertibles, they made 394, and the red did a really good job mixing with the black on these, and stands out really well on the wheels and the door pulls and some of the other things that we'll show you. So as for the red coupes, which was my personal favorite, they made 365, so one for every day of the year, pretty much. And then for the convertibles, they made 369. So once again, that was just a few more than the coupe. And looks good with that Colorado red seats. Silver was the least produced color. 257 coupes were made. And that was the silver metallic, because remember in 03 you also had satin silver, which was the rarest color ever. Then going back into the silver metallic convertibles, they made 237 of those. Now, with these cars, there were a total of 515 coupes and 495 convertibles, making 1,010 total. They were all built in 2004. My good friend Patrick has 2 Terminators, and both of them are convertibles. And he had told me at the time that that's all that he was interested in. He just got a GT350, so he changed his mind a little bit. But both his cars are beautiful. They're a lot of fun. We've driven around in them. And he even went back east where he has his other home in Detroit and bought this silver metallic convertible. And I really love the styling bar, the little roll bar that goes over the back. I think that's perfect for the convertibles. That's one of my favorite features. So anyway, those were just a few clips from some other videos that I've already made on production numbers and certain packages. And I'll put links to those in the video description if you want to see the full videos. But anyway, put in the comments what you think. Which would you prefer? You know, I know when I was first looking for Mustangs, I wouldn't even look at a convertible. I was only interested in coupes, and there's people who do just the opposite. They don't want a coupe, they want the convertible, they want that atmosphere of driving with the freedom and the top down and everything like that. So there's nothing wrong with either one. It can be a personal preference. Both cars can be altered in some ways. For example, you may have seen my video on the hardtop liftoff, available for $19.95 only. And they do make that aftermarket as well. But generally speaking, you can take the convertible and you can weld on some subframe connectors and some other things to stiffen it up. You can put this styling bar over it, like the little roll bar. I really like the look of that. My friend has it on his mineral gray Cobra. And, collectability, I think you're going to be able to find a lot of convertibles that were really well taken care of. The ones that were left out more, it's going to be harder. You're going to have to replace the top, and it's going to be a little bit more work than a coupe that you just basically have to repaint otherwise if the roof had faded. But they're beautiful cars. They're the same drivetrain. So performance-wise, they're really not that different. And as you saw earlier, the weight isn't really that big of a difference. A sound system and a tank of gas and a passenger could make up the difference between coupe and convertible. So let me know what you have and what you think, and let me know your thoughts. Why did you choose coupe, or why did you choose convertible? Would you choose the other? And just let me know in the comments what you think. As always, thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any questions. Please subscribe to the channel if you're new so you can see all the other videos that I've made, and turn on the notification bell. Thanks, guys.